Hey everybody, it's experimentation time, and what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to take this glazed white tile, and instead of removing the glaze, which is what I suggest in other videos because glue just simply does not want to adhere to this glaze, we're going to leave the glaze on this time, but we're not going to use a gel medium or a glue or anything. We're going to use resin. Want to see if that actually works? So do I. So let's check it out. The resin I'm going to use is from Magido, and there's a link down in the description area of this video. And they were kind enough to send me some of their resin. And so here's what the box looks like. I've got a few boxes of it here. And this particular company also sent me some molds and some colored dyes and other little things that that they offer, little tweezers and so forth. But we're not going to use any of these items here for this particular video, maybe one in the future, but I am going to use their resin. Here we go. You have your A and your B. The way this works is you mix an equal amount of A with an equal amount of B. And you want to mix it well for about a couple of minutes in something like a little plastic thing like this. Yeah. Looks like it comes with 2 measuring cups. So you'll put your A in one and you'll put your B in another because you don't want to mix them both in the same measuring cup. One is the resin and one's the hardener. Once the hardener mixes with the resin, I have these images that I printed on my quick transfer paper. Now, some people have said on the comments, hey, what kind of paper is that? Is that regular paper or printer paper, whatever? So it seems like I failed to mention, I guess, that this is printer paper, but not the kind you can buy at the stores, in a big old ream. But this is specially coated printed paper that's currently only available through my website at rickscandoit.com. Again, the link is down in the description below. It's specially coated because it allows the image to come off the paper by simply moistening the back. Don't try to do what we're going to do here, and I don't even know if it's going to work. This is experimentation time. And don't try to use just regular printer paper because it's just going to tear and it's not going to come off the resin. What I need to do is I'm going to be pouring resin directly on this glazed tile here, and then I'm going to take this image, let's say the one on the top here, let's get this cut up. I'm going to take this image and I'm just going to lay it right on top of the resin, and I'm not going to press it down with a brayer or anything. We're going to just lay it down on that wet resin, and we're just going to walk away and come back another day. So I need something to protect my table from resin. So I got some wax paper labels. I had postage labels on here, so we're going to put this on here because nothing sticks on this. And let's mix up some resin. So we're going to start off with resin A. I don't know how much to use, so I'm not going to use a lot. Another thing I need my steer sticks, like little wooden sticks. These come with everything you need. It comes with a bunch of sticks, gloves, everything. You know what? Wear gloves. So, who's next? Okay. My hands are just way too big for these gloves. Oh, let's measure resin A. I measured a certain amount right there. And now I'm going to pour the same amount of hardener. And instead of me having to look at the line, I'm just going to put the cups right up next to each other. You probably can't see that. I'm going to measure the same amount of hardener here. So I have 2 equal amounts. I'm going to use this plastic cup here. We're going to pour A into the plastic cup. I cleaned my stick because I didn't want any A on it when I put this in the hardener. Okay, now we're going to, as you can see here, I got the A in there. So now I'm going to mix the B into the A. You want to stir it really well, but you don't want to stir it really fast. You want to kind of avoid introducing too many bubbles. Now, there are things you can do to help with the bubbles, such as using a little torch, like a lighter or a heat gun.
Eventually.
So, but you really do want to make sure that that's really, really well incorporated. I have not tried this method. This is an experiment, and we're going to learn this firsthand. We're now just going to pour that over the glazed tile. We're not going to treat the tile. Maybe you should clean it, but other than that, I'm just taking a straight glazed tile and I'm going to just start pouring the resin right on top of it. Now, someone had asked me about doing this in the comments. Says, hey, can you do one where you coat your image that's on the tile with resin? And that got me thinking, hey, I wonder what would happen. Whoa. I wonder what would happen if I just transferred the image with the resin. You see? So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get this all on here as much as I can. But take your tile now and let's get it to at least coat the whole thing here. I don't want to get it on my glove. Alright, so the whole tile is now covered in this resin, which I'm just going to plop right on here in this wax paper. It should come off, so I'm not going to worry about that. And I'm going to take these gloves off now because I've got stuff all over them. And they are now worthless to me. Let's see, let's do the lion, okay? And I'm just going to lay this lion right on top of it and barely I'm not going to press. I'm just going to I'm barely sliding my finger because I want to make sure I got good contact. But don't press, you'll ooze out your resin. Don't do that, okay? All right. I'm leaving it alone. Don't press at all. Don't press, okay? All right. We'll come back tomorrow, which will only be a couple of seconds for you. As a matter of fact, tomorrow is after this. All right, it's time for the great reveal here. We're going to see how this thing turned out. It's been 24 hours now. And as I figured, it easily comes off of this wax paper, so I get to use that again. I'll just move that over to the side. And there's a little resin crystal there. Okay, so it looks like some of the resin got underneath the tile, but the part that I want to see is, as you can see, this paper is really stuck on there. All right, so just like any printer paper, you see if you start to pull on it, you're just gonna tear it. Okay, it's just gonna tear. So I don't want to pull on it, but what's going to be different here is we're going to be able to release it with water because it's my special paper to dab off the excess water, and we'll be golden here. All right. We get that underneath. Here we go. Just spray it or apply water any way you want. All right. And that should allow for it to release. Once it's soaked in there, of course, that's what we're hoping for. I don't know. I've never tried this approach before, laying it right on top of resin, but how cool it would be if it comes off. Okay, so far I'm not getting, oh wait a minute, there's something happening there. Let's give it a little more soakability here. I think it's starting to release there. Huh, okay. Look at that. Okay. I'm getting some release. Look at this. Whoa. Okay. I don't think that... Get the rest of that off. This actually looks pretty cool. Yeah, I just want to get the last piece of this. Or did that... Is that torn paper? Yeah, that's torn paper. So, did I end up getting... Let's see, is that part going to come out or did it get soaked into the... Oh, it's going to come off. Just the last bit of it. Did you see how that thing just peeled off? Look at that. It's coming off. Look at that. Wow. And I'm not rubbing the image off, which is good. Wow. Look at that. Wow. That's pretty cool. Okay. Is it my favorite way to do this? Not really. We're going to try a different way in a second here, but that actually works. So, is that paper? I can't tell. You know why I can't tell? Because I can't see. I'm going to go get my glasses on. I'm blind. All right, what do we got here? Okay, so I could feel it. There's no resin in here. These little areas right here, those were air bubbles. Air bubbles. So this approach, yep. See, oh, put it up here. There was no resin contact, so that means those spots right there didn't get any contact here. Because all we did was we just laid it down on that wet resin, but there's trapped air, right? So, not the best way to do it, I guess, but you gotta admit though, that's pretty cool. Look at that. That's pretty cool. And I gotta be able to cut this resin off somehow here because it seeped underneath. I'll cut that off. But anyway, look at that. That's all embedded due to the resin. Can you see it right there? Okay. So on this I got some resin pieces. I'm gonna this kind of moves a little bit here. So it's not so solid, but look at that. Look at this. It's an interesting experiment. Okay, so you can make some pretty cool resin tiles with that. When we did this on a different video, we had to first take the glaze off with this. We did not take the glaze off with this. So, if you want to transfer onto glazed tile, but you don't want to deglaze it first, then use a resin, because the resin will adhere to the glazed tile. And another thing too that I would suggest, I only laid it down and just barely touched it. But as you can see, that kind of leaves some air bubbles in there. And because there's air bubbles, you know, you're going to have some areas that there's no transfer. And I could put my finger, it's like a hole because the resin leaves a certain thickness, right? But what about simply using the resin? I'll tell you what, let's do this two ways. I'm going to put this aside for a second because I love experimentation. All right, let's do this. I'm going to grab another tile where the glaze is still on there. You can, let's see, can you see the shine on there? Nope, sorry. Don't want to deceive, but this has the glaze off of it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to give this another try because I'm thinking that maybe the secret to putting an image transfer onto a glazed tile using resin and successfully doing it, not this way, but to actually do it quickly, is to treat it more like a glue. Use the Magido A and B. I'm just going to put a little bit in this cup here. Going to take another one of these sponge brushes here, and we're going to apply this on as a glue with as much coverage as possible. Okay, I should have worn gloves, but oh well. I'll learn next time. Okay, so we're just going to put this on, nice thin layer, just like this. And I have not removed the glaze off this tile, so this is still a fully glazed tile. All right. Okay, so, and then as you let it sit there, it actually starts to even out. That's good. I'm gonna go grab me another, oh, I'm gonna have to print off an image, so let me go print off an image. Right. So there's an image right there. And I'll put that over that. I'm going to put this wood piece over it, and I'm going to start piling up tiles. Alright, and we're going to leave that alone. Okay. We're going to leave that alone until tomorrow. The next day, so time to find out what happened here. I'm gonna wet it. Let's hope for the best. Let that water absorb into the paper. It's got to absorb into the paper. Okay. Alright. We're going to just dab off the excess, just like that. You don't need completely dry. Will it peel? That's the question. Will it peel off? Pretty much. If anything stays on, you can, okay, we'll get a little water on that little piece right there. But did pretty good there. Yeah, okay. So it would appear that that method works. Okay, let me just get that last piece off. Alright.
Well, I guess that answers that question, huh? Look at that. So, you can transfer onto glazed tile without removing the glaze if you're willing to use a resin epoxy as your adhesive. And the other secret is when you lay it on, don't bother to brayer it or anything like that. Just put something on top, like this piece of wood, and then add weight. And then leave it alone until the next day. There you go. Look at that. Haha, yes, found a solution to the problem. But if you don't mind just using this for 2-3 minutes, you can wash that glaze off, and then you could just do it normal, and you'll be able to do this in 3 minutes, 4 minutes with, using the heat gun, and you'd be done rather than overnight. So that choice is yours. Personally, because of the fact that you can't even see the glaze of the tile anymore because you now have resin and you have an image on top, that what's the point of keeping the glaze in the first place? Okay, use this, 3 minutes, wipe it off, wash it off, dry it, and then apply with gel medium, brayer it like you normally would, use a hair dryer or a heat gun or whatever, 3-4 minutes until it's nice and dry, then peel it instead of having to wait overnight. But at least the experiment shows you can just do it straight on glazed tile if you want, or if you don't have this and you happen to have some resin. Now, the other thing is that now that you have your transfer, what if you want that really shiny look? After I've done the transfer this way, okay, where you use gel medium, okay, go watch my videos on that. Use a gel medium, then you apply the transfer. It takes about 3-4 minutes with a little hair dryer or heat gun. Moisten it, peel it, comes right off, looks beautiful. But then you want to put that glaze back on. Why not use that resin stuff? Now this, so I'm going to go ahead now. I think that's pretty mixed up pretty good. I'm just going to pour it on the tile. Just pour it on there, right in the middle. Let it just bleed off to the side there, to the edges. Okay. I know there's an easier way, but amazingly just appeared by itself. I'm going to put this back down on here. Now that's all got that nice stuff on there, I'm going to find me a lighter. There we go. And just pop those bubbles. I think I got, oh, there's one. Come on, go out. That's going to be it for now, and it's only going to be a second to you, but it's going to be a whole nother day for me. So until then, we'll be back after this. Hey, back. Just momentary for you, but it is the next day for me. First, let's take a look at this tile here, and I would say that that looks fantastic. Look at that. Wow, look at that. Look at that shine on there. Right, look at this. Okay. Isn't that great? It's got this nice clear resin glaze on there. So this is a transfer on the glazed tile where you would use this to remove the glaze, put the transfer on, and then pour resin. And so that answers the question from one viewer that left a comment about, you know, pouring resin on top of the tile. That works fantastic. Oh, I like that. That came out really, really nice. Hey everybody, I just wanted to interject here for a moment to kind of put everything together, because I know that it's kind of been flying by. I recorded a lot of these clips over multiple days trying to get something out there for you guys, because it's been a while since I've uploaded. We've been just trying to get our home put together since the move, and you know that other things have been happening around here. So anyway, I don't want to get into that, but I just wanted to kind of summarize what has been demonstrated in this video, okay? When you are transferring an image onto ceramic that has a shiny glaze, you know, they call it a glazed tile, using gel medium or Mod Podge or glues and all these things, they don't seem to stick to the glaze that is on the tile. Now, what I have demonstrated just now in this video is that you can, in fact, transfer onto glazed using an epoxy resin, such as the one that I was using, provided by Magido, yes, provided by Magido. Information down in the description box of where I got it from. And all you have to do, of course, is you mix it up, you put it, you know, brush it onto your tile, make sure you got good coverage, lay your image on top as I demonstrated, and then just don't roll it. Don't roll it or anything. That seems to actually cause a problem. Just put weight on top, leave it for a few hours to set, then you can take the weight off and let it go for, you know, until the next day. Then you moisten it and then you peel it off as normal. And then you have a transfer. Now, once you put that transfer on there, it's no longer going to have that glazed look, because now you have, on top of the resin, you have an image, and the image itself is not a glossy image. So if you want to make it glossy, you can mix up some more epoxy, pour that on top, and you can end up with a nice glass covering, you know, glossy, really hard coating on your new tile transfer. But let me say this, I do not recommend this method. Instead, use the method that I have demonstrated in another video. I'll have that link down in the description below. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and put it right up here, so wherever that is, and you click on that and watch it, and it's going to show you that all you have to do to remove the glaze is to use that etching stuff that I was showing earlier in this video. Okay, use that etching solution, put it on the glaze. It takes about 3 minutes. Wash it off. Then, of course, make sure your tile's nice and dry after you wash that off. And then transfer on there like you normally would with gel medium or glue, whatever you want to use. Put the image on, and then you will have to brayer it to make it, you know, nice and flat, no air bubbles, no extra gel or glue. And then you can dry it in 3-4 minutes with a hair dryer or a heat gun, and then moisten and peel, and you don't have to wait overnight for it to happen. And then again, if you want to make it nice, shiny, glassy top, then mix up your epoxy, put it on, and you can do it that way, which I have already demonstrated with the butterfly tile. So there's 2 ways to achieve the same thing, but one requires this overnight process, and one is only a few minutes. So you decide which is better for you. Personally, I recommend that you do the few-minute one using the etching solution, and just get the, because what's the point of leaving the glaze on the tile if once you put the image on top, you're not going to have that glossiness anyway. You need to restore that glossiness if that's what you want. And if you plan on putting these decorative tiles, maybe you're going to have them embedded in your tile kitchen or shower or whatever your craft is that you want to make these tiles for, and you want it to resist water splashes and all this stuff, obviously taking a shower or whatever, then you're going to want to epoxy the top of that, and then you're going to have a protection. So there you go. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to jump in here and let you know what's up.